Are the Toronto Maple Leafs finally going to make a smart, calculated move and acquire Boone Jenner, a 32-year-old captain with proven leadership, physical play, and 20-goal scoring ability at a cap hit of just $3.75 million? Or are they going to let salary cap constraints and organizational hesitation prevent them from landing exactly the kind of gritty, versatile center that Craig Berube's system desperately needs? All right, folks. Now we're talking about a trade rumor that actually makes sense, that's based on credible reporting, and that addresses real needs for the Toronto Maple Leafs. This is a fan-created fantasy or a nostalgic reunion. This is a legitimate opportunity to acquire a proven, physical, two-way center who could provide exactly the kind of depth and leadership that Toronto has been missing. Boone Jenner, the 32-year-old captain of the Columbus Blue Jackets, has emerged as a premium trade target, and according to insider David Pagnotta of the fourth period, there's a clear timeline. Columbus either signs Jenner to an extension before the Olympic break, or a bidding war begins. Let's break down every aspect of this rumor, examine why Jenner is the perfect fit for Craig Berube's system, analyze the obstacles, and determine whether this is a move that Brad Treliving needs to make. The situation, the Olympic deadline ultimatum. What makes this rumor so compelling is a concrete timeline. This isn't vague speculation. This is a defined deadline with clear consequences. The report quotes David Pagnotta directly. Jenner has established a potential deadline for signing an extension, with the Olympic break being the deadline. Pagnotta was even more explicit about the consequences if Columbus GM Don Waddell fails to sign an extension in the next 3 months. If there's no extension after the Olympics, or maybe even earlier, there will be many teams that will line up to pluck him from Columbus. This is critical information. Jenner is in the final year of his contract, carrying a cap hit of $3.75 million. He's approaching unrestricted free agency, and he's given Columbus a clear deadline. Sign me to an extension, or I want to be traded to a contender. That's the kind of situation that creates trade opportunities for teams like Toronto. The Maple Leafs, desperate for center depth and physical identity, should absolutely be at the front of that line. This is exactly the type of player they've been searching for, and the timing couldn't be better. The perfect fit. Why Jenner is Berube's solution. The report details exactly why Jenner is the remedy for the Maple Leafs' chronic issues. He's not just a name. He's the archetype of the player that head coach Craig Berube demands, and that Brad Treliving has been unsuccessfully trying to acquire. Let's go through the 5 reasons why he's the perfect target. 1. Leadership and physicality. Jenner is 32 years old and has been the captain of the Columbus Blue Jackets since 2021. He provides physical and offensive presence and more leadership in the locker room. This is exactly what Toronto needs. A veteran voice who leads by example, who isn't afraid to get into the dirty areas, and who can mentor younger players. 2. Proven production. The report highlights his period from 2021 to 2024, where he scored 20-plus goals per season while averaging 109 hits and playing above-average defense. That's the rare combination of grit and finishing ability that championship teams need. He's not just a grinder. He's a legitimate scoring threat who can contribute offensively while also playing a physical, hard-nosed game. 3. Versatility. Jenner can play both center and wing, giving Berube the tactical flexibility he loves to adjust lines during games. This is incredibly valuable. If Toronto needs him to center the third line, he can do that. If they need him to play wing on the second line, he can do that too. That kind of versatility makes roster management easier and gives the coach more options. 4. Face-off specialist. The Leafs have often lost crucial games because of lost defensive face-offs. Jenner solved that problem. He has a career face-off win percentage of 54.1%. That's elite. Winning face-offs in the defensive zone, especially late in games when protecting a lead, is absolutely critical in playoff hockey. Jenner would immediately improve Toronto's face-off performance. 5. Cost effectiveness. His contract is not necessarily the most expensive, with a cap hit of only $3.75 million. In today's inflated NHL salary market, that's an absolute bargain for a player of Jenner's caliber and production. Compare that to some of the other centers Toronto has been linked to, players making $6, $7, or $8 million per season, And Jenner represents incredible value. The tactical fit with Craig Berube's system is undeniable. Berube demands players who are physical, who compete hard every shift, who win battles along the boards, and who aren't afraid to block shots and sacrifice their bodies. Boone Jenner embodies all of those qualities. He's the kind of player Berube coached in St. Louis, the kind of player who helped the Blues win the Stanley Cup in 2019. Imagine Jenner centering Toronto's third line, providing 20 goals, 100-plus hits, elite face-off performance, and veteran leadership. That would be a massive upgrade over what they currently have. Or imagine him playing wing on the second line alongside John Tavares, providing the physical presence and net front play that can help Tavares produce more effectively. The possibilities are exciting. The obstacle, navigating the salary cap. Despite Jenner's $3.75 million contract being a bargain for what he offers, the report is clear. Toronto would need to navigate its cap situation if it pursued him. This is the perpetual challenge for the Maple Leafs. They're operating close to the salary cap ceiling, which means that adding any player, even one with a relatively modest cap hit like Jenner, requires corresponding moves to create space. The report suggests that acquiring Jenner would require an outgoing move, with GM Brad Treliving needing to finally find a destination for David Kampf's contract, $2.4 million, or another depth forward to free up the necessary space. This is absolutely doable. We've already discussed the Kampf situation in previous scripts. He's currently in the AHL, he's unhappy with his role, and Toronto has been actively trying to trade him. If Treliving can move Kampf's $2.4 million cap hit, that would create enough space to add Jenner's $3.75 million, especially if Columbus retains a small portion of salary or Toronto can send a depth player back in the deal. The cap gymnastics are complicated, but they're not impossible. This is where Treliving's skills as a general manager will be tested. Can he execute the necessary moves to create cap space? Can he negotiate a fair trade package with Columbus? Can he convince Jenner that Toronto is the right destination? The trade package, what would it cost? The report doesn't specify exactly what Columbus would be asking for in return, but we can make some educated guesses based on Jenner's profile and the market for rental players in the final year of their contracts. Jenner is 32 years old and in the final year of his deal, which means he's technically a rental unless Toronto can sign him to an extension immediately. Rental players typically command lower prices than players with term remaining on their contracts. However, Jenner is also a captain, a proven 20-goal scorer, and a player with significant leadership value, which could drive up the price. A reasonable trade package might include a second-round pick, possibly a first-round pick if there's a bidding war, a mid-tier prospect, someone like Fraser Minton, Topi Niemela, or another B-level prospect, possibly a roster player to help with salary cap management, someone like David Kampf, Kaye Jarnkrok, or another depth forward. That's a significant but not overwhelming price for a player of Jenner's caliber. If Toronto can acquire him for that package without giving up their top prospects, Easton Cowan, or multiple first-round picks, then it's absolutely worth doing. My strong opinion. Here's my take, Leafs Nation. This is exactly the kind of move Brad Treliving should be making. Boone Jenner is not a flashy, headline-grabbing acquisition. He's not going to sell jerseys or generate massive social media buzz. But he's exactly the kind of smart, calculated, value-driven move that championship teams make. Jenner brings everything Toronto needs: leadership, physicality, proven scoring ability, face-off excellence, versatility, and a reasonable cap hit. He fits Craig Berube's system perfectly, and he addresses multiple needs simultaneously. This is not a gamble on potential or a bet on a reclamation project. This is acquiring a known commodity who can contribute immediately and who has a track record of success. The salary cap challenges are real, but they're manageable. Moving David Kampf or another depth player would create the necessary space. The trade cost would be significant but not overwhelming. And the potential impact, adding a veteran, physical, 20-goal scoring center who can win face-offs and provide leadership, could be the difference between another early playoff exit and a deep run. The conclusion states, if the Maple Leafs intend to keep pace with the rest of the Atlantic Division, then a player like Boone Jenner could help stabilize an area that Toronto has been trying to improve. I completely agree. This is a move that makes sense from every angle. tactical fit, financial value, leadership impact, and addressing specific needs. Brad Treliving needs to be aggressive in pursuing Jenner, and he needs to be prepared to act quickly if Columbus signals that they're willing to trade him. The Olympic break deadline is approaching. Columbus has 3 months to decide Jenner's future. If they fail to sign him to an extension, Toronto cannot afford to miss this opportunity. This is a kind of smart, strategic acquisition that could define the season. What do you think, Leafs Nation? Should Brad Treliving go all in and acquire Boone Jenner from the Columbus Blue Jackets? Is he the perfect fit for Craig Berube's system and Toronto's needs? And what kind of trade package would you be willing to offer? A second-round pick, a prospect, and a roster player? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear all your perspectives on this potential game-changing move. And if you want to stay on top of every trade rumor, every deadline update, and every breaking news story as the NHL season unfolds, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe. We'll be here breaking down every significant development. And you won't want to miss a single update as we continue to chase that ultimate prize.